In the last video, we saw the end of the Onin War, only giving way for Japan to collapse into a state of further chaos, giving rise to ambitious and unrestrained daimyos, along with the birth of the Iko-Iki movement. Now, as many clans begin to assume their regional dominance, several daimyo will begin making names for themselves. After the end of the Onin War, many clans across the country were coming out as major regional powers. These of course being the Uesugi, the Takeda, the Imagawa, the Hatakeyama, the Ochi, the Otomo, the Shimazu, and of course the two main instigators of the Onin War, the Hosokawa and Yamana. Although their power would soon enter into a rapid decline, following the deaths of Hosokawa Katsumoto and Yamana Sozin. Other famous clans of the Sengoku Jidai were yet to rise to prominence, most notably in the north, in the west, and in the south. However, soon enough the map of Japan would frantically begin to change as clans across the country would rise and fall. Some allied one day, enemies the next, and then allied soon again, factions turning like the flip of a coin. It would be this chaotic period that would allow someone of very humble or insignificant origins to ascend to greatness in what would be known as Gekokujo, which means the lower topple the higher. These acts of Gekokujo would bring forth the concept of the Sengoku Daimyo, as someone who took power from another who previously had power. This is in contrast to the Shugo Daimyo, who, as I have stated before, were feudal clan lords who emerged as ambitious rulers because of the weak state of the Ashikaga Shogunate. Scholars often point to the first example of a Sengoku Daimyo being Asakura Toshikage, who was a lower-ranking retainer of the Shiba clan, who had been allied to the Yamana during the Onin War. In 1471, Toshikage would break away from the Shiba clan and declare his support for the Hosokawa clan, kickstarting the Asakura clan and eventually defeating the Shiba clan, taking full control of Ichizen, which, if we remember from the last video, was also at this time now fully under the religious sway of the Iko-Iki. However, the more famous and influential example of an early Sengoku Daimyo would be a samurai named Ise Shinkuro, later to be known as Hojo Soun. Shinkuro's origins are somewhat of a mystery, with it being said that he studied under monks at Daitokuji Temple in Kyoto, and later becoming a ronin with 6 followers. We can finally see that by 1468 he would be employed as a low-ranking retainer of the Imagawa clan, possibly due to the fact that his sister had been married into the Imagawa family. The Imagawa had been previously in service of the Kamakura Shogunate, and now the Ashikaga Shogunate, having enjoyed a prosperous rule, reigning over 3 provinces in south-central Honshu: Mikawa, Totomi, and Sugura. Unfortunately, by 1480, the Imagawa clan was soon to fall into its own succession dispute, as samurai began taking sides behind Imagawa Ujichika, the rightful heir to the clan, and his ambitious cousin, Oshika Norimitsu. Shinkuro would take sides with Ujichika and personally see to the defeat of the upstart Norimitsu. In reward for his great service to the Imagawa clan, Shinkuro would be given control of Kokukuji Castle in Segura Province, with which he could guard the Imagawa clan's eastern borders. Roughly a decade later, in 1491, neighboring Izu Province would also face a succession crisis, in which Shinkuro would decide to intervene, invading Izu and claiming it for himself. Soon Shinkuro would use his control of Izu and Sugura to establish his independence as a feudal daimyo. This would lead him on his own path of expansion. In 1495, he marched his army into the Uesugi-controlled Sagami province, laying siege to Odawara Castle. He would arrange for the commander of Odawara to be killed while he was out hunting. This would allow for the defense of the fortress to fall rather quickly. The capture of Odawara would mean greater ability to further attack into Sagami, eventually obtaining full control of the province by 1516. Also taking the city of Kamakura, which had been the headquarters of the previous shogunate over 100 years earlier. Shinkuro would die in 1519, having established a powerful legacy as a brilliant commander. Once a Ronin, he would die the head of his own mighty clan, a clan which would continue its conquests and expansion following his death. His son, Ujitsuna, would eventually seek to give the clan a formidable name, a name that many had previously respected and admired. Now controlling their previous home province, Ujitsuna would resurrect the name Hojo, giving birth to the new Hojo clan, which would come to dominate the Kanto region. This would leave Issei Shinkuro to be forever remembered posthumously as Hojo Soun. So, what can we learn from this? The Onin War would indirectly give rise to the concept of Geikukujo, which means the lower toppling the higher. This can be seen first by Asakura Toshikage, and more famously by Hojo Soun. Hojo Soun, of course, going on to establish a mighty clan, which would come to be the great regional power of Kanto. In the next video, we will continue looking at clans and daimyo who would establish themselves in the early years of the Sengoku Jidai. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and found it to be most informative.